Now this is the newest iteration of a component that I'm making. It started out for gaming, and of course it seems to move over into music too. There's just an amazing amount of overlap between the two. But anyway, this is a potentiometer that is, on its base, and like you've seen my other devices. Like here's a pitch wheel here. It spins. Now, what's different with this is that whereas the pitch wheel here has limits and it's spring loaded, I had folks asking, well, can we do a pitch that's not spring loaded that will stay in place like my mod device? And I thought, sure, but the range really isn't super great. I mean, it's about, I think, about 40 degrees or so of movement. And these folks wanted to set it up so that they had very fine control over pitch and to keep it at a particular point. So that they needed the higher resolution values that pitch provides versus a control change which is only 128. So I thought, okay, this, which I've done for the gaming stuff, which has continuous rotation, at least through the whole limits of the pot. So you can see this one, it goes the full 270 degrees of this potentiometer. So I'm like, okay, this is a great place to start. And it uses the same sort of potentiometers that I use in my other stuff. So what I've come up with is this. This is the fine pitch. So this uses this wheel in here, which has the 270 degrees of travel, and it doesn't center, and there is no detent for center. So you're gonna have there's no way for you to feel for that. That's something I'm working on in the future. But for now, that the one customer who's asking for this didn't need that. And in fact, as typically happens, I ended up having two people within a week asking for the same thing. So there you go. So this will send pitch from 81, 92, or 91 negative to positive, and keeps sending it as it's moved into position. I have to figure out whether I want to have continuous send or just send the last value. Probably just the last value. We'll see. There's also a little switch on the front, and the little switch is for a very particular reason. That is, if you want to turn this off, in other words, force it to do zero. So let's say you have a situation where you've set it at about 2500, but you need it to go zero. You could hit that switch, slide that switch, and it will just send zero instead. And then if you turn it back on, it'll send the 2500 or whatever value. It's USB only, so this is only going to be for USB MIDI stuff. The enclosure just isn't big enough to fit anything else. And then you have my standard setup channel button here. And this you're going to find on all of my MIDI devices. It's used for two things. One, it allows you to change the MIDI channel, so it'll cycle from channel 1 to 16. And it's also used for firmware updates. So if you need to do a firmware update, which basically do is you hold down the button, plug in the cord, it goes into firmware update mode, and you slam it on there. Now, the hardware part of this is all done. What I have to do is write the code. Now, it's going to be based off the existing pitch code, so that's a good starting point. It's slightly bigger because the mechanism is slightly bigger. But I think you get a win from this, from the fact that you've got that 270 degree rotation going on there. And for this first batch, I've printed this out in an oak. They call this oak, light oak, PET G on the 3D printer. So I may keep this color just so that I know that this is kind of a different device than my pitch and my mod and my wheel and that other stuff. And I am considering using this additional rotation on my other devices. I might have another generation of the wheel that uses that. I can't do it with pitch because pitch really has to be limited because it's got a centering spring inside. But for mod stuff, perhaps. So anyway, this is coming out soon. I've got a couple of them built. I have to code them and make sure they're working, and then get them out for real live testing. So this is the fine pitch.